Hey everyone, it's Jennifer Sherman here, early childhood specialist, but also college adjunct professor for human development and family studies, which I teach from womb to tomb. And right now we're on topics of adolescents and high schoolers, which is super difficult, totally understand. So today's topic actually is going to be about how to help your teenager reduce anxiety. Whew, anxiety is going around like crazy. It's almost like catching a cold, it seems like, at my school at least. We get them as teachers, we get the impression that it's almost cool to have anxiety around the kids. Like, they'll talk about it in class like it's no big deal. Like, oh yeah, what medicine are you taking? And oh yeah, I totally had a panic attack. Oh, me too. And it's kind of just as if it's no big deal, which is a bit alarming. And instead, I'm actually focused on, in my district, on a group that's working on emotional well-being. And so we're testing out different tools that we think might help our students out. And one thing is, we really want to give students the tools that they can use forever when anxiety strikes. So adults, we're parents and we're watching this for a reason. We completely understand that high school might be tough, but actually the bigger stressors are going to happen later in life. So if we can learn the tools when we're in high school and use them for anxiety, then when we're older, we'll have that toolbox of different abilities and different techniques to use so that we can get through difficult situations, which, as we know, happen all the time. So, how to help your child reduce anxiety. One thing that I teach my students, and I just call them my children because they feel like my children. So, one thing I teach the children are, when you're feeling so overwhelmed, like you've got 1,000,001 things on your checklist, the best thing that you could possibly do is just completely stop. Just stop everything. Set a timer for 10 minutes. You can just lay there on your bed and breathe. You can go for a walk. The worst thing you can do is just sit there and stew in it. So completely change a behavior pattern. Something that I implemented for second graders a few years ago when I taught second grade, I actually just started implementing it with my high schoolers. I never done it before, but I thought, it might work for them as well. It was right before finals, so everyone, especially post-COVID, when this is the first time some of them have ever taken finals, and then this is the first time in 2 years that all of them have taken finals, we're feeling super overwhelmed and stressed. So I kept telling them, we just have to stop the behavior. You have to stop doing whatever it is you're doing because it's still going to be there when you get back to it. So why stew on it? Why let your brain keep wandering? You see this river floating. You can either watch the choppy river go, or you can jump in and be part of that choppy river. Stop, watch the choppy river flow, take a hold of your body, and then move forward. So one thing that I did, that I used to do with elementary age, I just set a timer for 10 minutes and I said, okay, it's innovation time. Create something. I try not to give directions. However, the first time that we do it, I do give slight directions, which are, no phones, no computers. You can write a song, you can write a poem, you can build something with your hands, you can make a dance, you can write a song. But I try not to give too many ideas because I actually don't want to stifle their ideas. I want them to have the wonderful ideas and come up with something that I could have never imagined. That's the whole point. But I set it for 10 minutes and they don't even realize that I have just created the environment for them to completely stop worrying about everything that they were worried about. And for 10 minutes, I took pictures of the students. I walked around. Some of them had Legos for some reason. High school, somehow somebody had Legos in their bag. And so random stuff started coming up. People are making origami. People are doing all kinds of stuff. And I noticed they're all laughing, they're all smiling. Not a single person was thinking about everything that's stressing them out. And that was the whole point. So there are different techniques that you can do to actually help your children step away from everything that's worrying them. And I tend to err on the side of like, don't tell them ahead of time that you're doing it. Just take them out of the situation after the fact. I even didn't tell them for 2 days after. I said, you know why I did that? It was exactly what I've been telling you, how to step away, but I created that environment for you because they don't know how to do it yet. Until they practice the tools, I, as a teacher, have to create it for them. I, as a mom, have to do that for them and show them how to do it to a certain degree so that way they can be creative enough to step away and understand. Another thing I did with my high school students was I took a glass of water and I filled it with food coloring, and we went outside. I said, okay, come on, we're taking a field trip. They get all excited. They're like, oh, a field trip across, across the hall. So I stand in front of, I put it on the edge of a sink outside, and I fill it up, and I stand up on a ledge, and they're all watching. And I said, do you see this cup of water? Who's heard of No Use Crying Over Spilled Milk? And only about a handful of people raised their hand in each class. And so I instructed someone to just knock over the cup. Or in one case, the wind blew it over, which is perfect. The water goes everywhere except for back in the cup, obviously. So I'm explaining to students with a visualization, that's life. I could have thought, well, what if I wouldn't have filled the cup so high? What if I would have put the cup somewhere else? What if I would have placed it on the ground? What if I would have just held it? And I said, there's a million what ifs, but the point is it already happened. The water's gone. It's not going back in the cup. Just like anything you chose to do in the past, it's gone. It's not coming back. Learn from it. Figure out what you could do differently for the next time, but don't dwell on it. And I tell them that that's how they should think about past exams. Homework assignments, okay, what didn't work? Why didn't it work? How can you move forward? Those are just a couple different tools in my toolbox that I use that I think really help students. I'll probably film a little bit more on this subject because, again, I'm in a special group in my district that will be going through a 2-week, 10-day, consecutive 10 days of teaching different tools and techniques for 2 minutes each day for each class, and seeing how children respond to tools about living with their anxiety or being able to work with it. So I hope you enjoyed this video. If you have any comments or ideas, please feel free to private message me. And I look forward to posting more videos. Keep in touch.